Okay, so I have spent the last 20 minutes, an hour, trying to get my face on the screen, but alas, we cannot. So, I just wanted to show you a little insight to certain aspects of the group coaching. So, one of the aspects is your check-in form. Before you start, you'll have a check-in form to fill out, and it asks you questions like, have you got lifting experience? Where will you be training, at home or the gym? And then just to get an insight into what you're doing now, what we can help you with, whether it more be about your behaviors around nutrition or around training or around mindset. We go through here progress assessment. So this is more or less for you to get an insight into why maybe you might not be seeing progress. And when you tick, don't tick, you'll see, okay, well, no, I'm not lifting 2 to 4 times a week. Okay, well, there's a start. Are you tracking your sessions that you do? No. Okay, well, then maybe that will clock. That will be some insight into why you might not be seeing progress. So this pre-checking form is super important. As you go down, you'll see then there's some general questions regarding how much sleep you're getting, etc., and what you do to help your mindset, steps, and then we get to a mindset part, which is like, does your body image and your thoughts about your body, is that affected by what you see in the mirror? Is your productivity affected? How do you feel? What's your energy like? And we score out of 7 so that you can't basically say 5 out of 10, which is what most people do. So you have to go on either side. You have to go, I'm a 3 or I'm a 4, if you're somewhere in the middle, and then we know that you're which way you're towards. Again, this is super important because we are going to use this information from this form and these numbers to figure out your mindset gains in 4 weeks' time, so that every 4 weeks you can assess, am I being more productive? Is my relationship with myself better? Am I feeling better? Do I have more energy, etc.? I then want to just bring you to the weekly check-in form. So you'll fill in this form every other week. So you'll do your pre-check-in, then you won't fill in a form. And then on week 2, you will fill this form in because you need to give yourself some time, and we need to build up a picture over the course of a couple of weeks period. So this then is very similar questions to what you do get in the pre-check-in, but they're slightly more tailored towards your habits weekly. Now, I need to say, your journal is where you will be tracking your day-to-day. That's for you to go, what am I doing? What's my plan for the day? You can reflect on your day at the night. You've got your journal prompts. But this is a weekly review asking, okay, how many days out of the 7 did you manage to hit your protein range? Did you manage to hit your step count? And we make sure that we give you ranges so you're not having to focus. And I'll give you an example in a second, but that means that you're not having to focus on, I have to hit 10,000 steps every single day. This form that you fill out every other week is important because you will also do a habit gains check at the end of the 4 weeks, every other week, to see what you're getting in comparison to the check-in before. To give you an example, also just to throw you into the last check-in you will have at the end of a 4-week period, which will be very similar to the pre-check-in, to just get another mindset overview. So that's what's most important in your 4-week check-in, and to see how you compare to what you were doing to make progress versus what you have now gained over the last 4 weeks. Now, what I wanted to show you the mostest was the gains tracker. So we have performance gains, which is going to be the most important. I'm going to show you here. You have the option to track the big picture gains. And I just want to talk you through what this looks like. So you'll have your non-negotiable calories that we give you, like dependent on your goal. If you say, I want to build muscle, we will say, right, at bare minimum, you might need to get in 2,200 calories, but optimal for building muscle might be 2,400 calories. You also will have a range of protein, and that might be, for you, it might be, especially if building muscle, it actually might be, let's say, 120 to 140 grams of protein. So you can insert that there so that you know. Fiber generally will always land between 20 and 30. If you're having slightly more than 2,000 calories, it might be 25 to 35 grams of fiber. We give you these ranges so you don't have to worry about deciding what they are. We tell you. What's important though is then when you're tracking, you might go, right, on Monday, I got 100 grams of protein. Now, you know that's not within your range, but that's cool. That's what you got. Then Tuesday, you might get 120. You know, as you go on, you might just notice that you get more. You might notice that as the weekend comes, you get less. And what's great about this is it will tell you your average. So you now know at the end of the week whether you were within your protein range or not. The same goes with fiber. Now, we want you to track your sleep. This is big picture. Not everyone has to do this. This is if you like having the big picture. You can put your sleep in. Now, you might go, okay, well, I had 5 hours sleep here. That's 6, 8, 9, 10, 5 as an example. What is good about this is you might clock that when you get 5 hours sleep, your adherence to intentional eating drops down to a 2. Whereas when you get 9 hours sleep, maybe you notice that your adherence to intentional eating actually is a 7 out of 7. Your comfort in your skin, you might notice when you get a great amount of sleep that you feel a 6 out of 7. And when you get low sleep, you actually get 3 out of 7. So this is big picture for you to clock patterns. How is sleep and or, you know, protein? Maybe it's that a day you get really low protein, you might note that you actually were pretty starving and you were on the, you know, the 2 hunger scale. But a day that you ate 130 grams of protein, you actually were getting, you know, I don't know, you're on the 8 on the hunger scale. So again, this is super important for you to check against, you know, your protein, your fiber. How is that making you feel? You might notice that on a high fiber day, you feel uncomfortable in your skin because you're bloating. Sometimes it's just nice to have this realization and see it in front of you. So then you've got your weight. There is going to be a podcast on whether to weigh yourself or not. We never, ever make anybody weigh themselves. If you do want to, what I would say is if you are triggered by stones, then weigh yourself in pounds. If you're triggered by kilos, weigh yourself in pounds. If you're triggered by pounds, weigh yourself in kilos. If you are going to weigh, we really encourage you to weigh every single day. And so you might go, right, 60, 62, 61, 60, you know, 63, 63, 62 as an example. This is good when this allows you to see that your body is going to fluctuate. This also might help you go, okay, yeah, when I have a high fiber day, let's say, you know, on here, you may have had 50 grams of fiber, which is a lot. And you go, okay, maybe that's why the scale weighed a bit more, because I had lots more food in my tract. Maybe, you know, if you have a high fiber day, that means more high carbs, which means you will weigh more. There'll be more water in your body. This is not a reflection on your worth. but this gives you a little bit of a broader picture on your fluctuations, which might allow you to let go of the attachment to the weight that you are. And then what we take from these weigh-ins is your lowest of the week, mainly because your highest is usually due to no sleep or sodium or more food in the tract, whereas your lowest will be more realistic to what you actually do weigh. But obviously, we're weighing water, muscle, fat, food in your belly, poo in your belly. So this is not a reflection on how much fat you have. But of course, this does give us a big picture. There's two options. You weigh every day, every week, so that you get an actual broad overview in this big picture of, okay, your lowest weigh-in on this week might actually be, 59, and then your lowest weigh-in here might be 58. But actually, if you were to pick out one weighing from the week and only weigh once a week, this would freak you out. So weigh every single day, all of the weeks, and get an overview, or weigh 1 week every single day, leave it for the next 3 weeks, and on the 4th week, weigh every single day for that 4th week. So you're only weighing once every month, ideally just after your period. But again, this is only if you want to weigh. You do not need to weigh. I cannot say that enough. Now, what I find to be the most important here, hold on, can you see the performance gains? Yes, you can. I have switched. Oh, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? Oh no. Oh no. All right, here we are. I'm back in the game. Okay, so here, what you can do is, let's say it's week 1 and you're doing our program, and you can either put in just one of your sets, and you can put in the reps that you did for that squat and then the weight that you did. This is an example of what I did postpartum, my first training session back in the gym. I did 20 reps of 20 kg. And actually it wasn't, it was 10, but that's okay. Let's go with that. So you can say that you did 3, because what another form of gaining performance goals is your volume increase. So we do want to track that, but you don't have to put that you did 3 sets. You could just say 1, because that's going to still give you your 1 rep max equivalent. But for volume overview, put in all of your sets, your deadlifts. And if your sets were different, let's say you did 1 set at 20 kg and another set at 25 and another set at 27, just pick the average weight that you did for those 3 sets. So you might say that was 25 as an example. So that gives you an overview of the volume lifted. You lifted 750 kgs over the course of that time you were squatting. And the equivalent 1 rep max is 33 kgs, okay? I'm just going to highlight that there. Now, what's exciting is that the next week you go, right, I did 3 sets and I did 10 reps. And I actually did 27.5. What you can see is, you can see the volume has increased from week to week. You've now lifted 825 kgs over that course of time you were squatting, but your 1 rep max has now gone to 36. And you can do that with all of your main lifts every single week. And it's so exciting because also, let's say you have a horrible week where you're just not feeling great. And so you go, right, I did 3 sets and I did only 8 reps and I did 27.5. And you're like, oh man, I only got 8 reps, not 10. You can see here that you can see your volume and you can see your 1 rep max. And then what happens is that when you finally get down to here, you can see that it doesn't matter that week you dropped, because you'll see an increase in the total. This will track all of your volume over the course of those 4 weeks, and then it will tell you the increase in 1 rep max, and that you've, let's say, gone from let's say you go from a 30 kg to a 60 kg 1 rep max. It will tell you you've increased by that 30 kg. So this is a really nice overview over the 4 weeks. And then also, if you're with us 8 weeks, then you can see it over 8 weeks. And then my most exciting part is that if you go to the before and after performance gains long term, you can literally put in, and I would just say 1 set for these. Let's say someone from our studio does this, and they know that week 1 of their first ever program, they did 10 reps at these weights, and it will share their volume, and it will share their equivalent 1 rep maxes right here. If you scroll down, you can go, right, now, after where I'm at now, I did, let's say we did PB week, and you did like your 5 rep maxes, and these were the weights you lifted. You can then see, because it's really difficult to go like, well, I was doing 10 reps before, but now I did 5, and I know I'm lifting heavier, and I can see that in my tracker book, but actually, like, am I doing better? What you'll be able to see in strength gains is that your squat on week 1 when you started was 26.6. 26.7, and now afterwards doing your 5 reps at a heavier weight, your 1 rep max is 46.7. That is up by 20 kg, and if you scroll down, it will tell you your before and after over that period of time. This is the most exciting part for me. I think everyone in the studio using this will absolutely love this. And for me, I'm going to put in my weights from when I started postpartum to where I'm at now, 18 months later. And I'm so excited to see exactly what my 1 rep maxes were and what they are now, and that the gains that I have gained. To move on to the mindset gains, this will be your pre-check-in form numbers versus your 4-week form. There's the numbers in the mindset form. Now, I want to show you this. Here is the mindset numbers. You will count up these numbers, and you can actually take this into a sheets once you've got your answers, and you can, what's it called? Transfer it over into sheets. But hold on, let me make sure that you can see. So we're here. So this is the mindset form, and these numbers here, you will basically add up as you go. So you'll be like, right, I got 5 there, I got 3 there, so it's 8, I got another 6 there, and you'll add up your numbers. And you'll add up them from week 1 to week 4. Let's say your total out of 77 is the total number. You don't need to know that. It's all in the form. Let's say you get 40. And then week 4, you get the score of 50. That then shows you your increase. You've gone up 10 points and you've increased by 13%. That just gives you this idea, even if you go up by 2 points, you can see tangible progress in your mindset shift. And then the same with your habit gains. Can you see your habit gains? Yes. So this will be your check-in form week to week. So I'm just going to, it will be your weekly check-in 1 as an example, and this will be your weekly check-in 2. And let's say weekly check-in 3. All right. So here, this will be your habits that you do, as in how many times you ate your protein that week, etc. And again, so you'll add up the scores. It's out of 35. You don't need to know that, but let's say, right, you get a total of, between your steps, your protein, your fiber, your plants, I can't think what the other one we ask is, and you go, all right, habit-wise, basically you got about 20 on week 1, but the next week you basically did eat protein more regularly on more days, and your steps you got more regularly on more days. And so maybe your score goes to 24, and then maybe the next check-in form you do, your score goes to 25, right? You might even go down to 22. But the idea is that you'll see an increase, and over time, that is what matters. So this is just to give you this insight, basically, into what you're trying to achieve long term. Your big picture gains are so important. If you have very specific goals, I would suggest this form. More so if you have aesthetic goals or body image thoughts that pull you, away from positive body image thoughts. Sometimes tracking this stuff can help. Sometimes it can hinder. So you have to just gauge what works for you. Try it for a week. If you don't like it, if it triggers you, don't do it. But it can be very helpful to see intentionally. Your performance gains, I think it's very obvious why that's super exciting. Volume is super key for your muscle building, and your strength gains is super key for performance goals and just feeling capable and strong. And the stronger you are, the more muscle you're getting. So this is just a really great overview that you're making progress. And then the long-term before and after gains, and seeing your 1 rep max equivalents means you don't have to do your 1 rep maxes necessarily, but it gives you an idea. Oh my goodness, I am up in my squat by 20 kg, like overall in 1 rep max. That's super exciting. And just having your mindset and habit gains to look at in a big overview, I hope will show you that this isn't just about your aesthetic goals or your health and fitness goals, but also your productivity and your mindset and the body image thoughts that you have, and increasing that. And it can be a slow increase. It can, it doesn't have to be every single week. It's about big picture. So it's more about, okay, over an 8-week period, look, you had gains. I guarantee you, if you do everything that we're asking in terms of engaging, filling in your forms, making sure that you are listening to the podcasts and you are tracking something and being super intentional and listening to yourself and your body and how you feel, and not beating yourself up, and making sure that you're taking anything as a lesson. If you do all of the things that we talk about week to week and we go through, you will not have a decrease in any of your gains. I promise you. That is a guarantee. And if you do, then we would definitely ask, what weren't you doing? And that won't be a shame thing. That will be, okay, cool. Well, you weren't doing X. Now let's look at that and let's support you in doing that next week or next month. I'm going to leave it there because I think that's a lot of information, but I really hope that these gains, big picture kind of look really helps you just stay excited about your progress and showing up for you, specifically for you. All right, over and out.